It's time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout shortcast video, and with me, the guy to my right is the one and only Randy Van, and I used to call him Randy Van, the newsman. I guess you're still a newsman,
I'm
aren't
still
you?
a newsman,
Yeah,
yes, indeed.
doing news on KNIA, KRLS in Knoxville, but they cover Newton, Indianola, Knoxville, Pella. They cover a big area, but I'm here to talk to him about the Newton Cardinals playing in the Unidome this coming Thursday night. First time since 1992. Tell us about the Newton Cardinal football team. They're pretty speedy, aren't they?
They are. They have very fine athletes, very dedicated athletes, and they make the most of them. They've been able to, as you've seen by the scores, if you followed them, just kind of dominate their opponents here, especially towards the end of the year when they've pretty much gotten healthy. They started off the first of the year with some injuries that kids played through, and that kind of contributed to that lone loss on the season. Else they'd be unbeaten, but that when they lost to North Polk at North Polk in week number 2, Caden Klein, the quarterback and a very big part of their offense, was very limited. He couldn't run the ball at all. He was injured his hamstring, so he was working through that, and that really kind of, I think, led, plus the 5 turnovers they had in that game. But that's the only blip on the screen, and they've dominated, and they've scored 51 points their first playoff game against Fort Dodge, and came back and scored over 40 on the road at Gilbert. So they're a well-coached team, and it's a team that is focused and determined to play well for Newton and for their coach.
So Newton has a very challenging contest coming up on Thursday night against Cedar Rapids Xavier. What can you tell me about them, Randy?
They've been ranked number 1 pretty much all season, and they're a traditional program that's traditionally in the playoffs year after year. They are well coached, as I mentioned. They play very disciplined, and they have good athletes usually too. That they are multi-talented as far as running and throwing the football, and so it's going to be a challenge. But I wouldn't put anything past the Cardinal kids, especially this year's squad.
And you talked on the podcast about Coach Swedengel's way of doing things, and he's had these kids for a long time. Yeah. What is his way of doing things? How would you describe his coaching style?
Well, he likes to be aggressive, aggressive play calling, and very hands-on with the kids when he talks to them. And he not only teaches them about football, he teaches them about life as well. And I've had a chance to interview. I've done throughout the season, profiles on Caden Klein, Finn Martin, and I even did one on H.A. Lynn Stadium, what have you. But anybody you talk to about Coach is, very favorable of what he does with the kids. And I talked to Finn Martin, and I asked him, why do the kids want to play so hard for him? And he says, well, he listens. He listens to them. It's not like, well, it's my way or the highway. He listens to their input, not only with football, but what's they got going on in their lives, and that really makes them want to play well for him. And plus, he's got a lot of great assistant coaches. Finn Martin's brother, Oliver Martin, who played at Iowa and then went to Nebraska and then ended up at Michigan. He's a volunteer coach this year.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So that helps out a lot as well. But this is just a talented bunch of athletes who put in the time and don't cut corners, and they've really had a great season.
So Newton does have a strong offense and a good defense also, of course, because they've only lost 1 game this season. But when we're listening to you do the play-by-play on KRLS 92.1 on Thursday night, who are some key offensive players we should be listening for?
Just the normal bunch that we've been listening for throughout the year. Caden Klein is going to be huge at the quarterback, as any quarterback is for their team. Isaiah Hansen, he finally got a couple touchdowns against Gilbert, got going against Gilbert. He'd kind of been bottled up the 2 prior weeks, but I think, with some of the runs that Caden did, that kind of opened things up for Isaiah Hansen. Quan Coley made a heck of a catch on a touchdown pass at Gilbert as well. He can get in there, and either 3 of those candidates, players, can break a long run at any point in time. Ben Martin, of course, on the outside. A receiver, and Gabe Otto is a great blocker as well. I mean, when you get outside, that's when that speed of those backs, Isaiah and Caden, can really be put to use. And to get outside, you have to good blocking on the wide receivers, and Gabe does a great job with that.
Defensively for Newton, what are the Cardinals going to have to do to stop Cedar Rapids Xavier?
Number one will be stop the run, and they've had a good defensive line. There's at times, they've been ran on. Sometimes Coach Sweden-Jones says kids are trying to do too much. They just have to do their own assignments, and they'll be fine. The defensive front doesn't get a lot of credit, on the stat sheet because they're doing their job. They're taking up those blockers, and that allows Nick Milburn and Northcutt, their linebackers, to go in and make the tackles, and the safeties come up and make the tackles as well. So, it's going to be a hard-fought game. Turnovers, as always in any key game when two evenly matched teams are keys. If Newton can get maybe a turnover or two against Cedar Rapids Xavier, that would help the cause quite a bit.
Well, I'm not going to ask you to predict a score, but are you predicting a good game?
I'm predicting a good game. I don't think Cedar Rapids Xavier can run away from Newton. I don't think any team can run away from Newton just because of their offense. If Newton's going to win, I do think it has to be a high-scoring game for both teams. But we'll wait and see. I was kind of wrong on the Gilbert game, too. I thought maybe Gilbert would put up a little more of a fight against Newton than what they did. But they did lose one of their running backs early in that game. But, you never know. We're dealing with high school kids, and so
anything could happen.
Anything could happen. But I like chances for a good game. Pretty solid.
Now, normally you're on the KRLS Stream 3, but you're actually going to be over the air on Thursday night. You're not sure of the start time because the Pella game is also going to be on. The playoff game from the Unidome is also going to be on beforehand, right?
Yeah. The Pella game is supposed to start at 4. And I think that start time is probably pretty solid because I think it's one of the first games in the afternoon. But then, it just depends on how long that game goes, how much scoring there is, and what have you. Our game, the Newton Xavier game, is set for 7 scheduled, but like I said, if it runs long, but we'll on 92.1, if you tune in at 7 and you still hear Pella and Sergeant Bluff Luton going at it, we'll be on right after that.
Right, and Randy's not sure at this point whether or not the game will be streamed. So he said he'd let me know, and I'll post it on Facebook.
I'll let you know.
Because, these kids have relatives all over the country, and so that's kind of a neat thing, too.
Yeah, definitely.
So, grandma and grandpa living in Arizona or whatever the case might be
definitely
could tune in and hear what's going on with their relatives, too. So, Randy, always a pleasure to talk to you. Worked with this guy for 16 years at KCOB, AM and FM and Energy 106.7. And as I mentioned on the podcast, the good Lord above landed us, me, Joe Swanson, and Randy, all on our feet, all of us doing well. And check out Randy not only for play-by-play, but for news from Newton on KNIA KRLS Radio 2. Because he does a great job, and he'll do a good job with play-by-play on Thursday night with Wally Price. Check it out, and go Cards go! That's going to wrap it up for this Out and About with Jamie Grout video. And until next time, Grout is out. See ya.